Today's November 14th, 2016, and John is not traveling today. He's actually in the office. What's up, John?
Hey, Andrew. I'm doing well. It's another fun day of trading after the election.
Yeah, I saw Hacksaw Ridge over the weekend.
It's a little hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. This is a great story. It's true. Battle of Okinawa.
Where the Marines put up the flag up there.
No, that's Iwo Jima.
Oh, that's Iwo Jima.
This is towards the end. This is like the forgotten stuff that.
This is like the final push.
Yeah, and these guys the Japanese were like buried in tunnels, and they had to go up this ridge. And there's a story about this guy Desmond Doss who didn't want to fight. He was a
conscientious. Yeah,
he's a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And he ended up getting stuck up on the ridge, and all night long he basically grabbed people and lowered them down by a rope. He saved 30, 40 people. Like all night, he just kept dumping them down. People were like, where are these bodies coming from? He even saved Japanese people, soldiers. Anyway, I don't want to give that movie away.
Okay.
But
I hear Mel Gibson, Hollywood has embraced him again after this movie is just so good that people out there said, okay, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
Finally.
Hacksaw trade.
I got a hacksaw trade.
Wait,
your trade.
That's where I want to go.
That's the hacksaw.
Remember
trade.
We did the fake trade of the day
last week.
Yeah, where I just put 1,000 shares. Boom. What would it do? And I think at the end of the day, at the end of the podcast last week, I was down like $600, and I said at the end of the trade, I'm going to keep my fake trade on.
Yep.
Guess how much?
And he did, folks, and that was DRYS, DRYS. It was last Wednesday, I think, or Thursday.
I don't know what it was, but it's up $15, and then I have a fake profit of $14,800 in my account. I don't know which is worse: not losing money, the $600, or having to look at the
14 that you could have made.
The 14 G's. I mean, anyway, don't get me started.
It's an amazing move.
Wow.
And I thought after a 140% move that it made Thursday last week that it was done, Andrew. I did nothing in that one either. Never put on a long or a short. But wow, and you know what? There's another stock in the space, Eagle Dry Bulk.
EGLE. It's up 143 or 23% today.
Watch that one.
All right, let's do a fake trade in that. Here we go. 7,000.
Should we do a real trade?
I don't know. I'm tempted. This is when I usually get burnt. All right, so let's do a fake trade here.
He's putting on a paper trade.
Yeah,
right
I know.
Now,
with
folks,
Trade Monster
for EGLE.
It's a Trade Monster. Remember we used to do this at Trade Monster
I remember
when we had the firm. Now we don't.
Back when we owned it. Now it's owned by E-Trade.
So we can do
God bless them.
Fake stuff for them. All right. So fake trade is on an Eagle. Drop down and get your Eagle on. We're going to come back to that one at the end of the show.
It's a very patriotic trade. It's an Eagle.
I know. Did you see that Eagle that got stuck in the drain?
No.
Yeah, there's an Eagle that's stuck in the drain. And all the folks were like, hey, this is a metaphor for what's going on in America right now. Seriously, an Eagle got stuck in like some drain in Ohio or something.
Jeez.
Crazy. I don't know what the Eagle was doing.
Well, how about, Andrew, speaking of crazy things, how about Soros funding all these buses? I mean, you see these protesters out in Chicago and in other cities. And it's one thing if you believe that the protesters are out there because they actually are, they need their participation trophies, Andrew.
Yes.
If we gave them their participation trophies, which one of you guys on Twitter shot to me, they should give them all participation trophies. That's the problem. These kids out there protesting, the ones that are real, probably did get participation trophies and don't realize that there are winners and losers in elections. Even the president admitted that.
Sure.
Well, turns out, though, Mr. Soros, since he is a sore loser, is sitting there paying for buses.
That's how the money goes. Well, the people, I don't think the actual protesters get paid. I think they just say, hey, free bus ride to Chicago, comes with Subway, comes with
and you guys get to hang out in Chicago.
With In-N-Out Burger.
great because Chicago, we're getting the revenue from it and everything else. What you and I both disagree with is they shouldn't be blocking traffic. No, the buses aren't. The buses aren't doing that.
No, because they park the buses down on Canal Street. We can see them from the office.
Yep. They park them like a mile from the office. The kids all go marching around. And, once they get kind of tired and once the newscasters have got their shot, okay, hold on, you guys, stay right there. Do you see, by the way, Andrew, today that the New York Times says we're going to have to be more objective with our coverage?
I know. And they said
it lasted for all of 10 minutes before they went after Bannon. And then they go after Bannon like a rabid dog, saying that the guy that's, that basically was the head of the elect Trump committee, that was the former head of Breitbart News, Mr. Bannon, all of a sudden they just put out a hit piece on him. It's like, wow, that they took their own advice. That lasted all of 10 minutes.
And funny you mentioned that because they put out a tweet to go back against Donald Trump because Donald Trump said, New York Times, sucks, whatever, in his tweet. And I said, I wonder what New York Times, the stock's doing, NYT. And if you look at the chart on this thing, since the election, it's up from 1060 to 1240. So Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I mean, it's up almost $2 this week because they put out a tweet countering his saying our subscriptions have jumped 6%. Now, let me ask you something. I know you're not at S.E.C.,
right?
But is that putting out material information on the company?
It is material non-public information, although there is a...
if you're tweeting about
there's part of the S.E.C. that has given people a waiver for tweets as long as you have enough followers and Facebook posts.
So somebody from the New York Times said, oh, yeah, well, we got 6 times the amount of people coming in. I mean, it's great for the stockholders that own the stock. I mean, where does that...
But it's not a fair dissemination because Reg FD, folks, doesn't stand for full disclosure. It stands for fair disclosure. FD is fair disclosure, which, again, is in the eye of the beholder, really, Andrew. It's does the SEC chair, whoever it is, or the head of the justice, however, this falls... Do they say that, well, yeah, that's fair disclosure to put out a tweet since you have a couple million followers?
Who should we ask?
Ooh.
Well, I'm hearing through Gasparino that Scaramucci might...
how about that?
Might head the SEC.
Anthony Scaramucci, who we just did a podcast with a week ago.
I know. He's moving fast. I mean,
he could be.
He's moving like DRYS.
I've seen Anthony and Jamie Dimon mentioned for both SEC and Treasury. And by the way, both are brilliant guys. Know them both. And I would say, when you look at Anthony, some people might look at him and say, well, all he's done is been a money manager. Well, he is also a Harvard-educated lawyer.
Yeah, went to school with Obama.
Went to school with the president. And
he's spoken at a Trade Monster event.
He's spoken at a couple of them.
Yeah.
And, of course, he runs his SALT, the big strategic asset conference that he runs in Vegas every year. We got to go back.
It might be the last one if he's the SEC.
Well, I think they'll still run it, but he might not be able to be the head of it.
Turn it over
but
to...
I don't think he's going to let his stake in Skybridge go. No. He might have to put it in a blind trust
Which is even better because you know what happens when you get a cabinet position.
You get all that money tax-free.
That's right. Blind trust.
Yep.
Just the thing. And it's funny. I've been reading this Hamilton book and I'm reading about the first Treasury Secretary, Hamilton. And I guess if you become the Treasury Secretary, you get your name on the money. Right?
Yep.
It was kind of cool. I don't know. Just thought I'd thinking out loud.
That'd be interesting. I bet Jamie has, if he wants it, Jamie probably has the lead for Treasury. But Anthony sure could be for SEC chair, and I'm sure he could do a great job there. If either one of them want those two jobs.
Time will tell. Now, I booked my ticket to the inauguration.
Yeah.
I pulled the trigger on it Friday.
We got to try to get Andrew some press passes, folks, for the events.
I know. I'm going to be shooting there. Oh, and guess what else I ordered today online? I ordered the Thunder Power 1245 megawatt
megaphone. A powered megaphone.
Yeah. I called them up and I said, hey, what makes this different than the other one? The guy's like, it's louder. I said, can you tell me anything? He goes, 45 watts. I said, what does that mean? He goes, trust me, it's loud. And I can play MP3 songs on it. So
you can use it when you're having a party somewhere.
Now I can put patriotic music on it, so when the Trump protesters come through town, I can turn it on like, I'm proud to be an American. I'm going to stand behind the cops, too, when I do this. Say, come on.
A lot of folks are looking at the cops, Andrew, saying that's one of the areas that went almost 100% for Trump. And how rare is that? Rare as hen's teeth, as they say, that a union would go for a Republican, but they did in force. Wow.
Okay, so we covered Eagle, Crown Castle, CCI.
CCI, okay. So this is a REIT. It's down 8% since the election. It's a REIT in the wireless space. So what do? They basically, own towers and wireless infrastructure plays. Whether it's repeaters or towers or, the stuff that makes our cell phones work and things like that. They own that. And they turn it into a REIT, which means, of course, that they got to pay out 95% of the cash in the form of a dividend. So their dividend is almost 5%, Andrew. So the stock dropped 8% in the last week. Since the 8th of November, it's down 8%. And I was in there nibbling today, and there's some active call buying in there. Stock is like, I want to say, $25 off the 52-week high and just a couple bucks off the 52-week low. I'm tempted to take a bigger piece of this one, even though it's a REIT. It's in the space where everybody's hitting. Sooner or later, unless the bonds do just keep, falling off, down to nothing, which means rates go to the sky, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're at some pretty decent resistance points that we might actually take a breather, and that'd be good for a REIT.
And this is CCI.
CCI, Crown Castle, CCI.
Got that.
Did that one today.
And then you had this other one, Square.
Yeah, take a look at Dorsey's other company. This is, of course, the billing payments, processor. I finally saw my first Square, Andrew, on the Bluetooth side. I've seen Squares everywhere, of course, just like I think most of us have. You go to a cab, some cab drivers, instead of using the thing on their screen, they want to use Square. Why? Because they only pay 2.5% instead of 5% or whatever when you drag it through. And if you're a working man or woman, that's a difference. In the course of a month, you imagine how the number of credit cards dragged through there, paying double, paying 5%, 4 or 5% versus 2%.
It adds up.
Yeah. Anyway, I finally used a Bluetooth Square, which means that it's this little device, that the driver just hands you basically. Stick your credit card in, done. So a lot of us, when we were joking, saying, well, what's Square going to use now that the new iPhone 7s don't have a jack, don't have a headphone jack? And that's what the Square used to plug into. Don't need it. Bluetooth.
Okay. Square.
Yep.
Okay.
We knew that, but we were just joking that, they're going to be out of business.
All right. So let's go back to our fake trade of the day.
Eagle. How are we doing on Eagle? EGLE.
We would have, if I close out this fake trade right now, we're going to make $230 on 1,000 shares.
How about that?
Do we hold it?
Yes.
Or just hold it. Hold the fake trade.
Well, okay. So for the fake trade, Andrew, we should sell half, sell 500
I
shares.
sell it half. It's only $7 a share.
And hold the rest. Yeah, I do like this one. Because if they get the same kind of squeeze that we saw in dry ships, yeah.
I might do a real trade.
Might have to.
I don't know. But guess where that DRYS is now?
Where?
It's up $18,000.
Oh, my.
18.5.
It's going to hit 30.
That's what sucks about it. But you know what? On the same respect, we do a fake trade and it totally sucks. Then you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't do this trade. But that's, there's real trades and there's fake trades. You've got to decide. I mean, if you're new to this and you're just listening, because some of our listeners don't do that much trading, you can always pull the trigger and test your instincts to see, hey, did I get this right? Where was I? And probably better to do a fake trade here and there so that you can go back and evaluate, hey.
Let me toss them one more fake trade. It's a real trade, actually, though. AK Steel, AKS.
Really?
I sold out of X last week, which is U.S. Steel. I sold out of Mittal, largest steel company in the world, which is symbol MT. Did both of those. Freaking, they were, just hands down home run fantastic trades.
805. Wow.
This one may or may not be quite as big, but I got a bunch of calls trading in this one, Andrew.
Really?
And so, yep. So I jumped on this AKS, AK Steel. And I have the calls, not the stock, folks. So if the stock goes down $1 and everybody's saying, oh, what an idiot Doc was, stock fell from 8 to 7. I'm not in a $8 stock. I'm in options for pennies, my friends. But I can make double, triple, quadruple my money, which is the exciting part about trading options after all.
Now, with this Eagle trade, are you seeing any option?
I didn't have unusual activity in Eagle, so I was just trading. I was just
and that's right.
scalping the stock.
You know what? Eagle doesn't have options either, which is a good thing. If you're going for the squeeze and the super mega thunder power mega horn trade squeeze, then you could win on this. Up $1.70. I'm tempted.
Bang.
The year high on this thing was like $20 a share.
And it's now at what, 870, 880?
784.
784, all right.
Is that worth $1? Or is that worth throwing some dough at it and like tomorrow come in and it's like 10?
I'll look, like I say, I'm
to be continued.
I've got plenty, yep.
If we do a trade, if I do a real trade, I'll let you know. Trust me.
We'll update it.
All right.
All right. Remember, guys, you can subscribe on iTunes and or go to YouTube and get the show every day. Thank you.